says women can't stand each other, and they can't stand when one of their friends finds a good relationship and gets married. And that is, thank you, Doug MPA. That is the topic that we are going to go into today. So, as you guys know, it is said that women keep women single. Single women cannot stand when any of their friends get into a relationship because they need their friends to support their bad behavior. This is even worse when a woman is married. A married woman's single friend will do everything and anything in their power to get the friend to leave her marriage. Anything the married woman shared with her single friends, the single friends will find a way to get her to view it in a negative way. Anything the man does will be criticized and scrutinized. It is the goal of single women to get her friend in a relationship or a marriage or to leave so that the women can be single again. That is why I always say all the time that women sabotage each other's relationships. The women that sabotage relationships can be friends or family members, like that single auntie and that single mother. You guys already know. They're always telling the daughter, you can do better. She can't do better. That's why she's with you. We're hypergamous. If we could do better, we would. Do you know what I mean? Biology. You're not going to undo years of biology. Your only choice as a guy is to be awesome. That's it. That's all you got, Many men tell the stories of how their wives, mothers, and sisters do the most to try to get their wife to leave them. The wife or the sister will intentionally put themselves in opposition of their husband to make the woman have to choose who she's loyal to. When the wife chooses her husband, the mother or sister will make sure that there are severe consequences for doing so. Some of the common ways that women sabotage their friends' relationships or marriages is 1, make her think that the boyfriend or husband is cheating. That is the lowest hanging fruit and the easiest to perpetrate because of the all men are bad culture in the West. You guys fall asleep for a nap and you wake up to 10 missed calls saying, where are you? Where are you? You're like, I was napping. I was playing my video games. But women, we do this thing, right? We think, we have no idea how hard it is to get laid. And so we think that if it's if we want to sleep with you, we just assume every other woman does. That's our default. I'm not saying, and you guys have lived life where most women are repulsed by you, right? I mean, I'm just being honest, even hot men, most women don't want to, right? And so when you've lived that, you're like, what are you talking about? You think all these women want to sleep with me? And then it's a weird thing that happens. That's another way that women's friends sabotage relationships. They try to sleep with the boyfriend. It's like this is what happens. There'll be a friend group, right? And this guy's friend zoned by everybody. And then one woman says, you know what? He's cool. Let me date him. And do you know what happens? All the other women start flirting with him. It's like, you weren't trying to before. Guys, female friends. It's like, there's so many Reddit stories of men having sex with the girl's husband, sister, best friend, women. We don't care. We're ruthless. Okay. Another ways that women sabotage relationships is looking for signs of weakness or problems in the relationship and then blowing it out of proportion. Telling her to leave when the smallest conflict happens. Number 3, using any past transgression as a reason to show why the boyfriend or husband is a bad person in the present. 4, say that the boyfriend or husband is too controlling when he tries to set boundaries, especially if they are boundaries that affect time with the female friends or family members. A good example of this is Samantha Lee, Tyrese Gibson's ex-wife. They had a pretty messy divorce, and Tyrese was crying on the internet because he couldn't see his baby. It was bad. And about a year ago, she admitted that if she had different people around her, she would have stayed. Dun. Okay, so we're going to watch this interview where she
Sean Jackson here with another
admits
episode
this.
with my co-host Ron Ketchens.
Yo, turn me
through that. Loved ones, people that support you. You want to make sure that you are involving in that decision making. And you have to really decide and make a very calculated decision based upon your belief systems, based upon who you're speaking to, your wise counsel, like giving them the information and then making the best decision. I think that we do take divorce very casually, and I'll
Yeah.
admit I probably looked at it a little less intensely as I should have.
Mm.
That's me looking back on it, because I would never tell. I work with women. I would never tell a woman to walk through that in the same frame of mind I was in when I did it.
And when you say that, but what frame of mind was that? What do you mean by that in particular?
I was very, very hurt. I was very angry. And I remember like when I made like the decision, I was like hysterically crying on the phone with my attorney. That was not the person I should have been on the phone with when, like, that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, I was hysterically crying. And I was not in any position to make that decision. I was extremely emotionally intoxicated. We can be intoxicated with our emotions. And I'm very much emotionally led. I feel very strongly. I'm just that kind of person, very passionate. But I would never tell somebody to make that decision when they're that emotional. But of course, I was.
All right, even through it all, who still would in the chat? Be honest, guys. Be honest. She's taken her ex-husband to the cleaners in divorce court right now. How many of you still would date her? How many? One in the chat. One.
And I wasn't talking to someone that genuinely would be for marriage, or for reconciliation. And that's not no slight to my,
No, it's
The
attorney.
current friends.
it has nothing. There's no slight to that. Not the friends, but I was on the phone with my attorney.
Yeah.
So it was something that was being said to me that hurt me at that time. And so at that time when I was on the phone and I made that decision, I was livid. I was emotional. I was hysterical. And so if anything, if I could take anything from that and advise somebody else, because I don't want families to be torn apart,
Yeah.
it would be that if you're that hurt and you're like that emotional about someone, that's not a lack of love. Like the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. It's void of love, void of feelings. And so if I'm that emotional and I'm that hurt and I'm like on that level where I'm just like, I can't stop thinking and I'm just obsessing over why I am hurt. If it's misguided and misdirected, it can go in a bad direction. And so I think that with that being said, I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
And I made a decision like, well, I'm so angry, I'm so hurt, and this is, and I'm just like,
She's so remorseful sounding here. Do you know what she's doing currently? It's so crazy. We can just live double lives. You would think she was remorseful from this, but she's taken her ex-husband to the cleaners. She has not stopped. She's going for like $20K a month. You guys thought your divorce was bad.
forget it, like never mind. Like I need to be done with this. This is horrible. You just ruminating on all the negative things and not focused on any of the positive things. I posted a reel, and I mean this. I really mean this. There was a guy who was talking about that before he decided to marry his wife, he had said or had told his wife that he needed to choose the people that would speak to her in her most emotional moments. And it was people that would be for the relationship.
Right.
And I know a lot of people had different kind of like comments about the person and everything like that, but the message of what he was saying for me resounds true, because the people I have.
Yeah, that's a get out of jail free card. You could have picked people that were for the relationship. You could have went and found some. Who did you pick? You picked a divorce attorney. Do you know what I mean? Like women, you could have picked a therapist. I don't know. I mean, they're not much better, but you guys get the idea. You could have picked someone. You picked a divorce attorney. So if you picked a divorce attorney, you think your husband could have talked you out of that? Have you guys ever seen a woman that wants to divorce your ass? You've seen people try to talk her out of it. They keep going.
in my ear at the time were not for that.
Let me ask you this, because I think that's such a good point. Like when you're even in that spot where when you're emotional,
Yes.
you're in the pit of your relationship,
Yes.
it's so important to make sure you have people who are pro marriage, pro relationship, pro your
100%.
current relationship
100%.
to be able to help, you know, as much as possible,
100%.
make the best decision to keep the marriage going
Yeah.
when everybody may not have access to that counsel. So let me ask you this. If we can go back and if I were able somehow to insulate you with a pro marriage, pro relationship community, do you think you still would have actually gone through a divorce?
Not at that time.
There you go. From the horse's mouth. Now, I have two takes on this. One take is she's admitting it. Women sabotage other women's relationships. However, the other part of me thinks this is kind of just a way to blame other people. But two things can be true at the same time.
Okay.
I don't know what would have happened. Oh, I've never said this publicly.
No, that's what we do.
This is initiated exclusive, baby.
That reminded me of Brittany Renner.
Delano, make sure you zoom in on this one, okay?
Yeah. It's
Don't
deep.
actually no. I want to deny myself. I want to deniability. Yeah, no, I the truth about the matter is that if I had different people in my ear at that time, I would not have made that decision. No,
Wow.
I wouldn't.
Dang.
And that's the truth. I try my very best at this point in my life to be what I didn't have in that moment, because I think that women were like, I'm an extremely emotional person. People that know me know that about me. I'm the kind of person that like, okay, I feel so strongly, and I can ruminate. I can get so lost in my thoughts. I know a lot of women are like that. Like we're a lot, not all of us, right? But some of us are, just like a lot of men can be like that. But I know women specifically, there will be moments where they'll be like, I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be done. I can't stand this. He don't do this. He don't do that. Blah, 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 blah. And we're just focusing on these things. And because you don't have a certain person in your life to check you and say, sis, what about this? What about this? What about these strengths? What about what he's not doing? Like those types of things? That can get you thinking about the positive aspects of this person that you may not be thinking about.
Okay. I think we've heard enough. So there you have it, guys. And this is the thing. We're so anxious. That's just, as women, this is something we struggle with. And, I don't care. Every woman has this problem to some degree. We always think the worst is going to happen. Why do you think women will always say their number one answer to like why you have to be married or whatever or there has to be alimony or child support is because the men are going to leave us high and dry. We're afraid of spending our youth on the wrong guy and then getting old and crusty and left. But then we leave, so it's like counter. You would think we would stay, I don't know. So now there's a dating channel that's talking about how single friends sabotage a girl's relationship. And this is going to be a call-in at the end, so I'm going to want to hear you guys' experience. Here we go.
Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to another dating channel story. So learning lessons from previous relationships is something that you really have to be mindful of to not repeat the same thing over and over. I've seen a lot of situations where men tend to repeat their dating habits, and it's the definition of insanity, trying the same thing over and over, hoping that you would have a different result. So learning from your dating past is insanely important. Can it get in the way sometimes of just experiencing somebody and meeting people? Yeah, I think at the end of the day, if you ignore a lot of your past experiences, then yeah, you can meet more people and generally just be around more people, but are they quality people? So what I've done in the last, 7 or 8 months, I've really concentrated on the quality of people that I want around in my life. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because in my previous relationships, there has been lessons to be taught. And I'll give you the most recent example. If a woman generally starts to distance themselves from you and hang out more with their friends, they want to be single. And you have to be like, okay, well, am I doing something wrong? No. Am I giving off the wrong signs? Am I not being supportive? Am I not being the provider, protector situation? No. I think a lot of the times women just like socializing and men don't. Men generally, when they hang out with their boys, they just work on a car, they work on something, and that's where they hang out, whether they're building a garage with their friends, building a car, or go to the bar to watch a game. They don't necessarily like to just socialize for the sake of socializing. Usually highly productive men are somewhere working on something and making either money or concentrating on their craft or whatever. But women generally like to just socialize for the sake of socializing. So I remember a pivoting point in my last relationship that made me realize that this is probably not for the long haul. The person I was with was working in a law firm, and they met somebody who was in the middle of a breakup. You know how it is, misery loves company. So
yeah, because after the breakup, obviously women have to be hoes. Yeah, they're ready to get, I mean, if you dump your girlfriend, especially if you dump her, the worst might come to your mind, like someone else is like digging her out. And it should come to your mind because that's probably happening. We got Tinder. It's 2025. Do you know what I mean? Okay, let me get this straight. The woman has the choice to be sad or go F a hot guy. Better looking than you. Now he's going to smash and pass, which is worse for you. You know, you loved her. Sucks. It is what it is. It is what it is.
They're going through a breakup. My girlfriend at the time was trying to help them go through the breakup, but the woman was just, banging the ex and hanging out and just kind of like going through that process of splitting up. Once the breakup was finalized, now this person needed someone to hang out with.
Yeah. Women need like a partner in crime. Not too big of a partner in crime, one partner in crime. I'm going to read the chat on the website really fast. Doug MPA says there's nothing. This is Tyrese's ex-wife. She regrets leaving him. Her mom and all her friends were talking trash in the ear about him. How sad. Women just make up words, emotionally intoxicated. What the hell does that mean? I think I know what it means. So, okay. I'll tell you what it means. Now, it's like I'm a woman, so I can understand woman speak. This is kind of how our hamster wheel runs, okay? So you'll have a trait, right? So let's say the woman sees you as not working hard enough, right? So like she views you've done things to indicate to the woman that you're lazy. So this is how the hamster wheel goes. So first she's like, well, he's kind of being lazy. Now, I know what you're thinking. The woman is probably lazy or she doesn't have a right. That's not how we think. We think we're angels, right? So we'll start that. Then the hamster wheel keeps going and they're like, oh my God, I can't provide. What if I have a husband that doesn't provide for me? Oh my God, I'm going to be, okay, but that guy over there, he's providing and I do all this stuff. I did that and I did that and I did that and I did that. And then it just goes. And that's a hamster wheel. So yeah, I mean, that's what I would say, emotionally intoxicated. So then the woman does this for like 5 hours, maybe a week, maybe a month. And by the end of it, her hamster wheel was spinning so much that she's already going to divorce you by the end. And you just thought you took like a nap. Like you thought that you were just napping and it was going to be fine. And she thought, well, I'm contemplating this whole relationship because you napped.